Hey, welcome B-Siders to a brand new episode of my humble podcast. I'm so glad you've joined me again today, and it's guest time. As you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to it, you will hear a lovely voice in a second. Today I'm joined by Aideen, and she is, and I love this, an intuitive voice coach, a mentor, and a singer. So perfect match for the podcast. And now you're probably wondering, what's a voice coach? Well, you might have an idea, and I'm just going to quote what Aideen says about herself, that she helps to unlock mental and emotional blocks to be seen, heard, so that you can speak up, sing out, and then also step forward in life with renewed faith in yourself. I love that, especially the sing out loud and not just in the shower, I presume. So that is really quickly who we have on today, and I can't wait to talk more about what that entails and also her sort of musical story. So welcome, Aideen. So lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Right?
You said everything right.
Excellent.
I'm even impressed with myself the way you said it.
Yeah,
wow, I said all that about myself. I must have been inspired that day, because it's so hard sometimes to explain what anybody does. Putting the words on it can take a little bit of, you have to kind of own and step into that identity. And, yeah, I loved you telling me what I do. So I appreciate you reminding me. Thank you.
It sounds really powerful. So, and especially the singing bit, because a lot of people are still so scared to sing, unless it's in the shower, as I mentioned before. So yeah, it's, singing is such a connective kind of form of, expressing yourself, and I love that. And just seeing sort of, even on my social media channels, obviously I'm connected with a lot of people who sing and are musicians now, which is incredible, because I'm not like that. I don't think I ever want to be. So, and that's cool, but just seeing what you guys do and how you're trying to connect other people through the singing, through the music is keeps my heart nice and warm and fuzzy.
One of the things that I really have to help people with, because I work with lots of different levels, a lot of people think a singer is just someone who sings in public. It's like the singer is a Celine Dion or whoever it may be. And I like to say to people that if you sing, even if it's just in the shower, you are a singer. You're not a professional singer. You're just an at-home singer, and just owning that in your own mind and understanding that it doesn't have to be something way, way, way up there. It's accessible to everybody. And what we don't remember is that creating that vibration within our bodies by singing ourselves is actually really good for us. Like, it increases all of the main hormones in the brain that actually help us feel good: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and all of the energy. It helps us with our posture. It helps us feel good. Like, we know even listening to music helps us feel good. But if you can join in as well, you get a lot more of the benefits.
Even better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. And I guess even if we are talking, we kind of singing, because we're using our voice and the way we pronounce words. There is a certain sound and vibration to it. So yeah, you're right. We are singers, even if we don't recognize it.
We are. Like, my voice goes up and down quite a lot because I'm used to that. But sometimes people end up with a monotone kind of voice, and it's less engaging to others, and it's less interesting. So sometimes when I'm working with speakers, that can even be a great thing to unlock, is just that ability to move up and down in your range as you speak. What you can do, my favorite exercise, I'm going to share this with listeners now in case I don't get a chance later, but my favorite exercise for voice is a meow sound.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like meow. And when we do a kind of it's like a crying cat, like a cat that's been outside too long and is like, clawing to get back in, meow, or a scrawny little cat on the street, meow. And what you'll notice is, if you try a meow sound, you'll feel the larynx moving, and it'll help to it helps to get access to more flexibility and strength in the physiology of the voice. So not that many people realize that they can do more in that way, even for speaking.
Right. Thank God I've got a cat who's very vocal, because I talk back. I don't know what I'm
There you go.
saying, but
Yeah.
seems to work. Cool. Well, that's a great little tip and easy done, especially if a cat yourself. It doesn't even sound weird because you're like, oh, no, I'm just talking to my cat, you know.
Exactly.
Oh, some great tips to start off this episode. I love it. Now, I'd love to find out a little bit more about how you came to where you are now, because music obviously has guided you through the process of being where you currently are. And I'm just curious to hear about, how did it all start for you? And then, how did that journey sort of make you end up where you are right now?
So it started for me, but there was music at home because my mother is a guitar teacher, and she loves religious music, Catholic Christian music, and she ran choirs and she did lessons and things. But I think my favorite introduction to listening to music, we didn't have a radio until I was about 11. So my favorite music was actually the jingles on commercials and advertising on TV, or the theme tune for a TV show. So for instance, Skippy the Bush Kangaroo, da-dun, 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 da-dun. Oh, sorry, you're confused me, and I got confused. But that really trains you when you kind of have a bit of fun and you join in with something. It's like you're learning. You're learning how to get your voice to where you want it to go. So that was where it all started. I loved anything that was fun like that.
Right. That's where it all started. And then obviously you took that a bit further when you sort of decided to really focus on the music side of things.
Well, initially it was just I loved music, and I wanted to do anything that involved music. I was in musicals, and I wanted to then study acting, but my dad didn't think it was a good career path. So I actually studied psychology and languages. And in the back of my mind, I think when I decided to study Italian, I was thinking, oh, opera, maybe I'll sing opera. And I started taking serious voice lessons when I was 19, and I did classical music singing. It took me a long time to do anything with music as a career because my dad had warned me basically that it wasn't really a viable career. And the phrase "you can't make money in music" was like said with such finality by someone who I thought had my best interest at heart and was going to guide me properly. So that was really, it held me back for a long time. I didn't go back to study music formally until I was in my 30s. I went back to study jazz vocal performance. I learned to sing jazz music at a jazz quartet. And then I got discouraged because I couldn't get people to come to gigs. And I don't know if jazz was really my first love. It was just happened to be the way that I got my music education. And when I started teaching, that was when it all fell into place because there was less pressure on me to be seen as a performer. I was helping others be seen. Like I was teaching people to sing for fun. And in Ireland, it's common for people to have a party piece. So you go to the local pub and the local farmer has one Irish tune that they sing. So there is more of in our culture, it's more accessible that, anybody off the street might have a song or a poem or something to contribute. So when I started doing that in Ireland, it was very readily accepted. People were interested straight away. I had concerts called secret singer concerts for people who don't normally sing. And then it kind of grew from there. It was really such a blessing. And I do create some music myself, and my husband and I put out music and music videos, and we have a YouTube channel with some cool stuff on there. But the teaching gives me fulfillment so that I don't ever feel like that anything's missing in my life. I feel like music is my life. Yeah. And whether somebody recognizes how good a song is or whether they buy an album or something isn't as important to me because I'm literally, my journey is music now, which gives me a lot of fulfillment.
Oh, yeah, that sounds really in a way intriguing, because a lot of people assume if you want to make a living in music, generally they assume you want to be like a successful singer on, sell records. But I do sometimes feel there's a little bit of a shift going on. Maybe it's because I'm a bit more involved with people like yourself who do a little bit of a twist on the whole music thing, saying you don't have to be successful music doesn't mean just a singer on stage. It can be helping other people with their voices, or just still doing your own music. So I love that. I love that that shift is happening, because I know everyone kind of loves music. I mean, I've not really known anyone that doesn't love some form of music. And tapping into that power of it can help us in so many different areas of our life. And that's why I love what you do as a voice coach and a mentor, because you have people like myself who don't have this aspiration to be a successful singer, but still using our voice in a better way to possibly create a life that we want to live and love. So
Yeah,
that's incredible.
I think when it comes to choosing a career, that it's good to find an industry that you're passionate about and find out some way to get involved in that. It doesn't always have to be that you're the one on the stage. You could be the one doing stage production, or the guy in the sound booth, or there's lots of ways to. I think that we, as children, we kind of see the person on the stage and we want that. Actually getting involved, there's lots of other support roles. Like, if you don't, not everyone who wants to work in medicine becomes a doctor. Some of them become nurses, some of them become pharmacists. And I think parents don't know enough about what the possible careers are, and we tend to be told that's not a good idea, when there could be many paths to having a successful career and a fulfilling life that includes music in a bigger way.
Absolutely. And when you said that, I just sort of had a bit of a flashback to a moment with my mum, when she took me to my first ever live concert, and that ignited a passion, obviously, not just for live concerts, but also passion with my mum of, the time when you're at a concert and you wait for things to start, and you see everyone running around on stage and they get off stage, and it's like the security is at the front, because that was back in the time when there were like the mosh pit and all that, and it was just crazy. And the funny thing was, my mum kind of instilled the interest in me to look beyond the stage, and she said, "What's that guy doing over there? He's standing there, he's checking something out. What do you think his job is?" And then we sort of started to figure out, oh, he's actually the head of the roadies, so he's overseeing things, he's the head of the security. And then we started figuring out the different kind of jobs that we could figure out, unless obviously we couldn't see backstage. And I always was fascinated with that kind of side as well. So yeah, I totally agree with your point of saying there is more to the music industry and the music business than just being on stage, either as a singer or a musician or in the band or something. So that's a great point. So for any parents listening, don't be afraid to get that passion for music going, because there's always something that your kid or even an adult can do if they want it. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, there's never a downside to studying the music, for sure, because it also teaches teamwork. It's been shown to decrease bullying and all that kind of thing. It's been shown to improve the interaction between the left and right side of the brain. So it helps with problem solving overall. It's also a great stress reliever. So if your kid is great academically and is going to go into engineering or science or something, having done music all the way along as well means that they'll have that to fall back on when they're stressed at work, and they could have a better work-life balance. So don't be afraid of it. I think parents try to protect their kids from disappointment, but we work that stuff out ourselves eventually. So
I think so. I think so. Now, this is all juicy stuff, and I love it. I really love it, and I think it's important to mention that, to give a bit of a different perspective on the whole music thing. And obviously from your own background, saying, with your parents, especially your dad, saying, oh, music's not the industry to go in. It's probably almost dangerous to go in there. You don't never know what's going to happen to you. And I'm glad we mentioned that, because that can also be, because I know I try always to highlight the positive aspects of music and what it has done in people's life, but it can also be, I guess, not a downer, but there can be negatives associated with it. And I'm glad you shared that, because that
Yeah.
shows that, yes, while there might have been a negative part on it, you've turned it into a positive for yourself now. And that in
We're
itself.
sensitive. We're sensitive about our voices, and we're sensitive about the things we're passionate about. So if someone's passionate about soccer and someone says, "Oh, soccer," it'll hurt you worse than anything else, because it matters so much to you. And a lot of the people that I work with have had a disappointment. They've been told they can't sing, or they've tried to and forgot the line or something, and it becomes a scar and a wound. And that's why I talk about uncovering the blocks to being seen and heard, because some of those are in our childhood, and some of them are things that we just need to reframe, maybe give your inner child a little cuddle. And I really believe it's never too late to enjoy music again. I have a student, and he gave me a lovely testimonial. At age 50, he met me and then was like, "Oh, maybe I can learn to sing," right? So he decided, because randomly we knew each other, he decided to learn to sing, and he started writing songs. And he's written over 400 songs, and he's on his third album. And he doesn't consider himself the best singer in the world, but he's getting so much enjoyment from it. And he's had this amazing journey of healing himself through music. So those kind of encounters with somebody that somehow it becomes a huge part of their life because they met me randomly, they're very, very satisfying. And I really think if someone in their mind wishes they could sing, or if they get, like what would happen to me, I'd start to get tearful if I saw someone singing something really well. If that happens to you, find a way forward for it. Join a choir, get a singing coach, or, make a decision to notice that you somehow want to do something with that, and that you shouldn't just ignore that because it's like me. Instead of studying music as a teenager, I'd said I better study economics, because then I'd have my science subject and my business subject. Like, we use our logical mind to make decisions, but our heart sometimes has a different idea. So listen to your heart. That's my advice to anyone.
I so agree. Yes, this is why this exists, because I listen to my heart.
You know what? This is an example. You're an example of, your love for music has come through in this amazing podcast. You're working in the music industry almost now.
Oh, who would have thought? But no, it's true. It's true. Who would have thought? And I can't add anything to that. You said it beautifully. Now let's switch up gears a little bit. And talk a little bit more about yourself. I love the advice you give, but I think it's time to dial it in on yourself a little bit more. Can you share with us if you have a favorite song? And if you have, can you tell us why that's your favorite song?
So my favorite song, the one that kind of is in my mind and heart at the moment, is a song by Johnny Logan. It was his second Eurovision win, and he wrote this song called "Hold Me Now." And not only is it a very powerful song, like it has all of the elements of like a very powerful song. It has the belting style of singing. It's got low notes and then high notes. And then it has a key change at the end. And it's like, da-da, I mean, Simon Cowell couldn't have done it better, honestly. And that's why it obviously won the Eurovision Song Contest. So there's a formula for those powerful songs. And this one certainly has some of those qualities. But the main quality of that song, when you listen or watch Johnny Logan sing it, is the emotion that he brings to it.
Goosebumps, yeah.
But I might not have even thought of that song ever again, except that the moment that he won the Eurovision Song Contest was a very important moment for my grandmother. And she was very sick that night, and she was with family. She was in a hotel. She should have gone home earlier, but was like so excited, has to see if Johnny Logan would win, and was so excited that he did. But once she got back in the car, her health issue just flared up, and she had passed away by morning. And my dad came in to my bedroom first thing in the morning, that following morning, and said, "Your grandmother is dead." And I said, "No, she's not dead." And I was 13. Okay. So, I was close to my grandmother because I was the oldest of 5. So I would be left with my grandmother while other stuff was going on with the younger kids. And I had developed a one-on-one relationship with my granny that was very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Like she would take the sticker that I got out of the cereal box and she put it on the outside of the cupboard in the kitchen, like the outside of the cupboard in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
where everyone would see it. She let me do skipping rope indoors. You know, I wasn't allowed to do that at home at my, because I'd already broken once stuff at home from doing skipping rope at
Oh
my mum's
no.
house.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for me, my grandmother was very important, and I feel like her energy was with me for a long time. But because that song was connected to her so strongly, every time I heard that song thereafter, it would bring up her memory, bring up those emotions, and connect me to her again. And for, you know, it's just a song that'll never go away for me. And just in the last few months, I've decided that it is one that I want to do a cover version of. Because I did, my mum's mum passed away 2 years ago, and I did a cover version of Rule the World by Take That I dedicated to her. So that was really lovely. And so it's like now my other granny has to have a song for her too. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so we're gonna change up the feel of it. It's not going to be an 80s power ballad quite the same way, but it's really important to me to do.
Oh, I had goosebumps. That song is and for anyone that's not familiar with Eurovision, you might want to go on YouTube or wherever and just sort of kind of Google it, especially in the 80s and early 90s. It was huge. Now I'm not sure. Things are a bit, my opinion's a bit, different on that one. But
you know, I think it's still huge. I know Irish people love the Eurovision Song Contest. And it's very interesting how sometimes the winner tends to be, you know, a favorite country that's going through a tough time. Like I remember, you know, you'd see the points go to the underdog country or the one going through political turmoil, or it's very interesting. It really was a kind of a snapshot of how everyone was getting along in Europe. And I think Ireland had a really strong run of winners, and I think because we didn't instill any negative emotion in any other country in Europe, that the songs were really, you know, kind of got to stand on their own. But that was Ireland had so many winners in that time, that early kind of 70s, 80s time, that it was huge. I mean, people would go to each other's houses to watch the Eurovision Song Contest, and now it takes 2 or 3 days to watch it because you have
that many countries.
Yeah, you have so many countries, and now Australia is in there as well, a Commonwealth country. I was like, how did they get in there? That's I don't know. It's not really Europe, is it?
Yeah, I mean, when they first announced that Australia will be there as well, I said to my husband, I said, why? I'm from Europe. Why? But, you know, times are changing, I guess. I don't know. I have fond memories back, like you said, 70s and 80s. It was this huge thing. Everyone tuned in. It was this, like, if you weren't watching it, it was like, do you have to take a temperature? What's going on? You know? So yeah, it was huge. And then, you know, obviously when at the end, when they're like, oh, you know, in like 3 languages, you know, 10 points and Italian and French, and it was just crazy, and all the other languages.
It was great.
It was awesome.
Was great.
It was like this connectedness.
And you'd pick your favorite, and they tell you a little bit about the singer. And I mean, Celine Dion won, you know, the Eurovision, ABBA. Yeah. Like there's some of those big
names
artists from back
yeah.
So anyway, Johnny Logan.
Walking on sunshine, you know, that one wanted. Yeah. I didn't go there.
You're a good singer. You already have. I'll add the high note in. You need a backing vocalist. That's all.
That's all. Yeah, so definitely, if anyone is not familiar with the Eurovision Song Contest, just check out some of the winners. I mean, ABBA, obviously, like we said. Anyway, it's big fun. It's great. Yeah. And Johnny Logan, of course. Beautiful song. Gives me goosebumps every time, for sure. Oh, dear. Yeah, that's, you can tell we're sort of showing our age here, sort of 80s, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're doing the cover. So once you have that ready, please let me know, and I definitely want to listen and share it as well. That'd be cool.
Thank you.
Now, what other songs do you listen to that sort of, give you either the lift you up that you need, or that just give you this hug when you need a cry? Is there anything else that you feel like is always kind of on your playlist that helps you through the
It's funny.
days?
It's funny. My husband loves indie rock music and he listens a lot to current music. What I come back to personally is I come back to almost like meditation music. Like that maybe there's I love my little bit of meditation music, and I do meditate myself with my voice. Like I do mantras and things like that, and I've recorded some mantra meditation, like Om is a simple one, blah blah blah. Some people are not going to be at all interested in this aspect of my likes and dislikes. But I remember having a compilation of songs, and there was a song on it called Ramadasa. It was like Ramadasa Sa Se So Hum. For some reason, that song got me through one of the toughest times of my life. And I would just listen to it. And I remember being on a bus with my little iPod. And I don't know even where. And it was the only meditation song that I listened to back in the day. And fast forward to now, I teach a meditation mantra class twice a week, because for me it's about the voice as well. So everything kind of comes under this umbrella of voice.
Yes, yeah.
We can use our voices to sing a song and to enjoy pop music, but we can also use a song to connect more to ourselves and to connect to the divine, if in whatever form you like. My mother comes from church music, so I always felt that connection to singing to something bigger and feeling like, hey, thanks for everything, and will you ever do this for me? I always think of prayers as like, you're fantastic and I need a ... that we kind of there's a praise and then there is a request, and then so there's a lot to be said for meditation music as a form of just breaking the cycle mentally if we're feeling down or if we're feeling heavy. And I use that in the background. I if you're asking what songs do I lean into that I feel like make it like shift my energy and change things for me, that Ramadasa is the top one, and then there's a few others, and then the ones that I just sing in my own head or I sing in my classes. So and that's kind of boring, I suppose, from the idea of music lovers. But there's songs that I've like it's
totally
just a different type of music.
It is, and that's the beauty of us as music lovers. You can choose what you want because you want it, and it gives you something. There's no right or wrong. It's just as it is, and if it's right for you, it's right for you. That's
definitely.
It.
Yeah.
So that to me sounds like almost a description of what the power of music is and means to you. It's this ability to shift energies in a very simple way using your own voice. Is that what you think it is?
Yeah, when I talk to people about singing or anything like that, I talk about the listener. I never talk about audiences, right? Because most of the time there isn't a huge audience. But we can, when we have our heart and we're expressing something from our heart, the listener can feel that. And it doesn't matter as much if your voice is perfect or if you miss a note. It's like the message and the communication of the song is being received in the right way. And that's why a lot of popular musicians, popular singers aren't great singers. Bob Dylan, Madonna, even, like there's a lot of singers aren't very good. Nowadays, we do a lot of post kind of production on music, a lot of pitch correct and things like that. So we don't even know really how good singers are until we get them live on a stage. So I feel like the song benefits the person singing first, and then it can benefit the listener if that's what you want. And I love that. And I just feel like vibration, and when we think of vibration, it's like it ripples out from around us. So I think that if you sing a very sad song, it's like it can bring you down a little bit, and you sing a song that gives you a little bit of hope, it can bring you up. But I feel like you imbue yourself and your surroundings with that energy of the vibration of what you're doing. So like it's similar if you watch a lot of like very negative news stories, like by the end of a day and a half of that, you're depressed. So
true.
We need to be informed, but we don't want to be, embroiled
Overwhelmed.
in. Yeah, we need to be able to raise our vibration to see things from a higher perspective. And if that's a song from Pink that brings you there, or if it's a religious song, or if it's if it's meditation music on YouTube, whatever it is that helps you as a person feel lifted and a little bit out, like that you can pull yourself out of the trenches of life. We're in the trenches, it's like like it's war zone, and we need to be able to come out of that and see things from a different perspective. So to me, music has the ability to make us feel more space around us and help us to see things more objectively. It helps us maintain a better mindset and a better energy, a better just to feel a bit like anything is possible. And movies can do that too. Like some people are more interested in going to a film or something, but then we realize, okay, there's loads of music in the movies often, and that's what's giving the movie the emotional content without us knowing.
True. That's a whole nother discussion we could have just on that.
Yes, for sure.
Movie music. Now, I'm just sort of digesting everything that's going on. And as introverts do, sometimes we pause and we digest. And then, so there's lots for me to digest from our conversation. Lots of, as I always call them, the little golden nuggets that I just love. And I can't wait to release this episode because, just hearing it again, there will be new things going, oh, yeah. So to kind of close off today, I would love for you to share if you have a specific song that kind of describes where you are right now with your business and or life, if there is one, and maybe give us the why behind it as well.
Now I'm the one who needs to pause because I don't remember if I prepared something for this question or
whatever comes to your heart or mind is fine. And if you can't remember it, that's cool too.
Can you ask the question again?
What song would you pick that describes your business and or life right now?
Oh yeah, now I'm starting to come back to me. This Is Me, The Greatest Showman. And the funny thing is, people come to lessons with me and they want to sing that song, and I just love it. And I've never tried to sing it myself. But when I saw that piece, Hugh Jackman, brought this musical together, and he got everyone rehearsing. And there are YouTube clips of the rehearsal, and the actress who sings this song just had a transformation moment where she starts to find her power in her voice, and you can see the shifts, and I know technically what's happening, like posture changes, and she's using her voice slightly differently, but it's the energy of it, of like she's just like, she's not just singing the words, she means it now. This is me. And I believe each of us have value in the world. I believe each of us matter significantly. Nobody is higher or lower. And your voice has value. The things you say have value. What you do has value. And it may be for one other person or two people, or maybe for 10 people. And I think we underestimate how important we are. So to me, this idea of This Is Me isn't so much just about, oh, hey, it's Aideen. It's my ethos, it's my value, it's my mission to help everyone understand that you can stand there and you can say, hey, this is me. This is me when I'm happy. This is me when I'm sad. This is me when I'm annoyed at you. This is me. This is how I am today. And there's nothing wrong with that. And by being completely honest about how we are in a moment and allowing ourselves to see ourselves more clearly, then things change very fast. We find someone who's supportive. We find a new strategy for what's next. We take a step into the unknown. We take on a new job. We learn a new song, whatever it may be. So that was the song that came into my mind for that question, because to me that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And for me, it feels like a life or death situation. either you step into your you-ness or you're becoming smaller and smaller and smaller.
Wow, rewind that, folks, and listen to just that one sentence again.
Yeah.
That's why I think, there's so many things I could add, but I won't. I'll just leave that there and let the echo just vibrate through, and hopefully that will stick in everyone that's here today. And that's, I think, the biggest takeaway I want for everybody. So I'm going to leave it right there. Beautiful. Aideen, thank you so, so much for coming on and sharing everything you've shared. Yeah, powerful stuff. And again, thank you for everything you do, not whatever you do, for everything you do. And as always, if anyone would like to get in touch with Aideen, her details will be in the episode description, including a link to her YouTube channel so you can check out Aideen's voice, which is beautiful. And otherwise, any questions, throw them our way. And that's it, B-siders. Another guest episode done, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I shall be in your earbuds again very, very soon. Until then, you all take care, keep on dancing, and keep on rocking. Bye for now. Bye.